Right, hello. Are we going to start doing this thing where we start trashing Mo Salah? We can't do that, surely. Surely. Like, you can't go out there and say that Beyonce is not a lovely looking woman. Beyonce is a very beautiful looking woman, even if she's not as beautiful as Rihanna. Rihanna is a very elite looking woman. Beyonce is a very beautiful looking woman. We take a bit of Beyonce and we absolutely, most certainly, definitely take a little bit of Rihanna. And I feel like that's all of us, and I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say. Maybe if you go for the other side of the spectrum and you maybe swing another way, then maybe you're going to go for a Zac Efron in his prime, not now while he's got cheeks the size of chipmunks. But in terms of, the reference I'm giving, Beyonce is a very beautiful woman, Rihanna is a very elite woman, but they're both really, really good, right? You don't sit there and say one's overrated and one's underrated. You just don't do it. It's a mistake if you align those two absolutely beautiful, amazing, individual-looking women as an overrated or underrated category. I think they're both absolutely fantastic, and they both just enjoy them while they're here. Just enjoy them while they exist. And Mohamed Salah falls under the same category. Is he the greatest of all time? No. Is he the most aesthetically pleasing footballer of all time? I mean, he's up there because, he's got fucking 8-pack and muscles for days. But no, he's not. Mohamed Salah is just a very efficient footballer who knows how to score and knows how to create. So when I saw Talksport, I only saw the clip. And I saw Simon Jordan, I saw Troy Deeney, and I saw friggin' Graham Souness discuss about Mohamed Salah and the way that they were talking about him. It was very disappointing. It wasn't in reference to the game after Liverpool where he had to go at Klopp, which, by the way, Mohamed Salah was bang out of order for that and deserved to be called out. And anybody who was defending Mo Salah shows to me that you're Salah above the club. I don't care what Jurgen Klopp said to him. You should have been a bit more aware that having a go at Jurgen Klopp like that, being so forceful and less discreet, was going to cause headlines. But then I see these three absolute incapable, football knowledgeable individuals, just literally incapable of coming to a proper opinion without being overshadowed by the want to be controversial. And I get the element of, not being careful of what you say and all these type of things. But I just don't think none of these guys would have had the balls to call Mohamed Salah overrated or to call Mohamed Salah selfish at the top of his game. In fact, calling him selfish when he was at the top of his game a couple of seasons ago might have been a bit more fair, because there was more demonstrations of it then than what there is now. But let's not forget, Mohamed Salah has a Playmaker Award in the Premier League. Let's not forget, he has got double-digit assists, I think, for the past 3 seasons. Maybe even more, maybe less, I'm not sure. But I know at least the last 2 years he's been a heavy playmaker. He's been up there with the best playmakers in the league. And that is why he deserves respect, in the regard that he's not as selfish as maybe portrayed. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I believe it was Graham Souness. It might have even been Simon Jordan who made the claim Mohamed Salah's one of the most selfish players that they've ever seen in the league. And then you've got Troy Deeney. His umpa-lumpa looking ass sitting there just having a go at friggin' Mohamed Salah for being overrated. Well, weren't you overrated when you were just a little header merchant from corners? Like, what is the difference? What is the difference between a Troy Deeney and a Nugent? A David Nugent? David Nugent was probably better. David Nugent was probably a significantly better footballer than you. I think of Troy Deeney like a sort of Paul Konchesky of strikers, and that's probably disrespectful to Paul Konchesky. Paul Konchesky still made something out of his career. He didn't have to sit there in interviews on random podcasts and say, oh my goodness, Arsenal tried to sign me. Paul Konchesky played for some of the best clubs in this country. Troy Deeney was only valued at Watford, and he was only valued at Watford for being a set-piece merchant. He was just a 5'10" carrot. He was just a 5'10" Peter Crouch. And he's coming on a platform and calling players like Mohamed Salah overrated. So now you ask, what is the substance? He provided no sufficient substance. Also, I ask, I am a man of no footballing experience. Based on our experience, you are more credentialed to talk about football than me. But based on actual knowledge of the game, I feel like that this man should not have a platform, because there's no substantial belief, there's no substantial evidence to back up the claims in which he's saying. So we've got a huge problem. So we've got Simon Jordan, who likes to think he's the king of the country. In fact, he's the twat of the country, come out and say that Mohamed Salah is wrong for this, that and the other. Right, he called out a couple of political views. And then you've got Graham Souness saying that Salah is a very selfish player. But Graham Souness is the same person who, for other strikers in the past, has said he needs to be more selfish. So which one is it, Graham? Let's make our minds up. We can sit there and say he was wrong for the Jurgen Klopp thing, and we can sit there and say that he's been in some terrible form. Those things are true. But let's not follow it up with any false claims that he's completely selfish and the most selfish player that you've ever seen, because we both know that that's not true. Mohamed Salah literally cannot, based on his numbers alone, be classed as a fully selfish player. You just can't think that, Mohamed Salah has become a player who now tries to look for the pass opposed to looking for the shot. He still goes for chances, he's still a volume goal scorer, but he's not just that, he's also creating a lot of chances for the likes of Nunez and Diaz. So let's call a spade a spade. He's definitely a very good creative player and has been showing a lot of signs of that over the past 2 or 3 seasons. So we can't say he's the most selfish player in history, and the only reason why you're saying it like that, again, for headlines, for clicks, for controversy, say that he's one of the most, say that he's up there, even that would be false, but then to say he's the most is just ridiculous. And then to get Troy Deeney saying that he's overrated, well, what were you? What were you? People said that you were like a very efficient man. You was efficient, but you was a meaty guy. You weren't Premier League level. You just was so happened to be a Football League 1 level playing in the Premier League. Fair play, done well in the Championship. I won't completely discredit Troy Deeney, but let's just call a spade a spade. Overrated footballer. Overrated. And there's a reason why he never got a move to a big Premier League club. So to sit there and say that I am, Arsenal were trying to buy me for 20 million, but then you're having a go at Mohamed Salah, one of the greatest Premier League players of all time, calling him overrated. Well, overrated to who? According to Liverpool fans, is that who you're saying is overrated? Because is it overrated to say that he's one of the best, most efficient players the Premier League's seen? Probably not. Now, it would be overrated to say he's one of the most skillful players you've ever seen, because he's not. He's not one of the most skillful players you've ever seen. But based on leadership, based on availability, based on the club that he came to and what they had won before he joined and after he joined, he's one of the best signings the Premier League's ever seen. Goes to Chelsea, doesn't get given a chance, go and remakes his name in Italy, so he's shown perseverance, and then comes to one of the biggest clubs in the world, maximises the platform, scores loads of goals, double-digit goals every single season without fail, then started getting double-digit assists every season without fail, and you're calling them overrated. But now I need to know according to what standard? Is it according to a person who might say Mohamed Salah's the best in the world? Because yes, of course, in that case, fair enough, he's probably overrated. But you can't say he's one of the most overrated players of all time or right now. It's just ridiculous claims. Now listen, football is subjective. It always has been, always will be, and that's the beauty about football. But when I just see 3 absolute helmets going on a platform and not giving no substance to any of the claims that they're making, I just feel like I need to do a video about it. I'd love to sit there with them and dissect their premises. Because if we don't know the premises, then all it is a bunch of nonsense. Don't give me nonsense, give me facts, give me absolute certainties. Not prickly, measly, peasantry statements. No. Yous are supposed to be the upper class merchants. I'm the scouser, I want some premises. Not some nonsense. I want a proper Chinese from Chinatown in China. Not from Liverpool Chinatown. And whenever I watch Talksport, I feel like it's just that. It's just a very cheap, what's the way I can word it? It's like a Turkish shop with Liverpool shirts in it. With Liverpool shirts. It's got the Steven Gerrard, and it might have a different format of writing. It's got a Nike badge, but realistically, it's actually just a tick that you've got off the iPhone emoji. It's just one of those things. Let's not take Talksport with any sort of, substance, because it's not a substantial show. Talksport is probably one of the most bollock shows, and to be honest with you, it is entertaining at times, but on the contrary, it's not what you should be going to for any valuable football knowledge, and I think that's why it's caused such a stir. I think people look at Talksport and these platforms like as if these are supposed to be, the accredited, absolute, all-knowing football experts, but they're not. They're quite the opposite, and they've shown that many times, and we shouldn't be putting so much light on this instance. And I've seen the outrage on Twitter, and it's crazy, and But they are entitled to their opinion. I disagree with it. I think Salah's much better than what they're painting out to be, and I don't think they would have had the balls to say this a couple of seasons ago, or even at the beginning of the season. The timing's rich, isn't it? Oh, everyone's overrated when they're not in form. Well, fucking hell, what was Troy Deeney when he was at Birmingham City? Getting them relegated? Near enough. Barely getting a game. Come on, let's not take the piss here, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit ridiculous. And I go back to the statement, Beyonce is a very good looking woman. Rihanna is a better looking woman than Beyonce. And that is fine. They are both amazing. Mohamed Salah might not be Messi, but Messi is still a very elite world-class player, and Salah is still a very good player. Not as good as Lionel Messi, same way Beyonce is not Rihanna, but we still come to the final conclusion. Everyone's good, let's enjoy everyone in the same hemisphere. Shout out to Rio Ferdinand. Did anyone see Jamie Carragher drunk for Dortmund? That was beautiful. That was beautiful content. And if you haven't saw Jamie Carragher being drunk at Dortmund, it's unbelievable. I wish I could do more streams of me drunk, because there's nothing better than a drunk scouser on a platform of any sort. If I was drunk, I might say some mad shit, but I think I will probably go viral very, very quick. So for the sake of viewership and the sake of ad revenue and all these things, I might become an alcoholic. Because why not? It's a winner. Scouser, bevies, creates great content, baby boy. And you know what? I think I'm going to go down the route. Accelerate the process, and then you get to drink for a living as well, which is a terrible thing. But if it gets the revenue in, why not? Why not? Rihanna is a very beautiful looking woman. By the way, when I was a kid, Beyonce was one of the first crushes, and it was great. And, even beyond all the seedy shit that goes on in Hollywood and these celebrities, and you know what? They probably are aliens. They're so perfectly crafted and boss, and the eyes, and the cheekbones, and just very good. Yes. They might be a part of the Illuminati. Who knows? But very good looking women. Like the way Mohamed Salah's a very good footballer. I just don't get this. I don't get it. I feel like I've got to be the voice of reason on this platform. I feel like I've got to be the sort of, the head of the household. I've got to keep everyone in check. Fabrizio Romano spitting nonsense, and then you've got these fucking 3 tickets going on the platform thinking that it's any value, and then everyone on Twitter's getting fuming. Thankfully, we have James Redmond TV to dispute all the nonsense, you know what I mean? Isn't that what Simon Jordan says before he starts his podcast? Something about nonsense. And he says it in a very weird way. If you'd ever watched Simon Jordan's podcast and that intro that happens, that he does, and it's like, and to cut through the nonsense, and he looks like a chipmunk. Or a squirrel. Just very weird way to speak. Very weird. I understand Queen's English, very good, boss. Very weird way to say nonsense. Nonsense. I don't know if anyone else has clocked that. Maybe that's just a me thing. But anyway, I need to get a bath. Why do we need to get a bath, you say? Because I like baths, the boss. Nice, warm, hot bath. Do you know what I like to use baths for? I like to use them as like a sauna. Put it boiling. Like, burn my skin and make me sweat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do that. By the way, I've burped on a platform before, and I've seen people absolutely outrage at me burping before. Like, grow a pair of bollocks, please. Grow a pair of bollocks. It's a burp. It's natural human causes. Thank you very fucking much. I've just had a milkshake. Allow me. Do you know what I mean? Don't be a prick. When you have a coffee, do you go for a shit afterwards? Am I judging you for your shits? Let's stop being a culture that doesn't even allow a burp. All right, a fart in your face is too far. Fart under the quilt with the missus. I've told you this before. It's wrong. It's wrong. But a burp on a camera. Come on. I'm not supposed to be the example. You know what I mean? It's like what someone said on the last video. James, why do you swear so much when you profess Jesus? Well, it's like, I'm not saying James Redmond's the example. He's the example. Jesus isn't going to fart under a quilt, but James Redmond might. And that's because I'm not the example. He's the example. So, yeah. Follow Jesus, don't follow James Redmond. That's the way I'm going to end the video, because that's a very good biblical way to end the video, and I'm proud of it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Smash a like, subscribe, and all that other nonsense. And I'll see you later.